Vast Resources is the AIM-listed resources company with mines and projects in Zimbabwe and Romania and Tajikistan. The company is in talks to extend its debt facility, and I'm delighted to be joined by Chief Executive Andrew Prelea. So, Andrew, I hope talks to repay $8.4 million are progressing, because here we are on July the 3rd and the debt was supposed to be settled end of June. So are there any penalties for being late?
Well, hi, Sarah, first of all. First and foremost, if you remember, the debt was meant to be settled on the 15th of May, and we did receive an extension from both Alpha and Mercuria until the 30th of June, based on what we were expecting as far as the settlement in Zimbabwe of the parcel of diamonds. They've been very understanding, and they of course have been on the inside and not been able to trade, so they are actually understanding what's happening in Zimbabwe and the cause of delay in actually monetizing that settlement. So they've been very understanding, and we appreciate it. As of today, the first extension didn't entail any penalties, and we don't believe that we'll get any penalties for the second extension as well. As I said, they're both understanding, they're both very well secured. Mercuria's been in with us since 2018 or 17. And Alpha's been with us for just over 12 months, and they've both been very understanding lenders, and they're both very well secured. So they did not call a default on Friday the 30th, and they've been kept up to date of what's been happening during my 2 months here in Zimbabwe trying to settle the matter.
And of course, you're keeping investors updated about what's happening with the parcel of diamonds. Do they exist, or are they figments of everyone's imagination?
No, they certainly exist, and we wouldn't have gotten this far, especially in the courts, had they not existed. It has been confirmed to us that they are still sitting in safekeeping in the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe under the Supreme Court order of 2010. So that's not our concern. We understand what's in there from the historic data and the historic valuations, which is in the public domain. But of course, prices have moved since then, and also the methods of cleaning and monetizing them have also changed. So we are still confident that we'll be okay as a company once we get them out and once we get them settled. And we'll be okay anyway, regardless. But we are still confident that we'll be proceeding. As I said, I've been here on 8 weeks on the ground, and we are anticipating a close to this matter shortly, as it's been written in today's RNS.
Okay, so 2 months is a long time. You can't get those 2 months back. So I'm quite sure that you've been working and exasperated in equal measure. So when when are you going to get them? That's all investors are interested about, really.
I understand, but what is hard for us to even comprehend and should be and understandable by the market is this is something quite unique. Nothing like this has ever happened before. There are no protocols in place. There's no way of legally transferring them that has existed in the past. So these are all have to be done within the Kimberley process, within the legal framework, and it's been a task to try and find a lawful way of handing them over. And that's really what's been the cause of the delay. And we won the court case on the 1st of February. It virtually went unopposed. Since then, we've had a writ of execution to try and find a method of extracting them. That's now taken place, and now we're in the process of discussing with the RBZ on how to lawfully extract them and export them in accordance to the Precious Gems Act here in Zimbabwe, as well as the Kimberley process. So really, it's not a long time until we get this thing finalised, and it's just been a very exhausting journey to get to where we are today.
June was supposed to be the company making month, and these delays in terms of the getting the parcel of diamonds is making it into a company breaking episode.
I don't necessarily say that. I mean, yesterday we announced that we were in discussions with Alpha and Mercuria. It did drop on that news for lack of understanding, probably by the market and the scaremongers on the bulletin boards. However, it did close up, I think, 7.7% yesterday afternoon. So, I think the people who are in here long term understand what we're doing. They understand that we work in difficult jurisdictions, whether it be Zimbabwe, Romania, or Tajikistan. They're all emerging markets. They all have their nuances. We are, we're quite unique in the space that we occupy. Romania will issue the production report during the course of July, as we always do. We're happy with the progress there. It could have been happier, but we're happy with the way it's progressing. Tajikistan, again, we're just awaiting our export permits for our first concentrate delivery to Trafigura. So things are moving in the right direction. So, missing the deadline of the 30th with understanding lenders is not exactly the end of the world or a company breaker. We still believe it's we're heading towards the company maker, but probably a month late.
Okay, I just want to go back to what you were saying about the Baita ply polymetallic mine in Romania. So we have to wait a little while longer before we get the Q2 numbers. But is the quote increased production trend continuing throughout 2023?
Well, had it not continued, I would have had to RNS it. So I don't want to provide anything that's not in the public domain. I'll just leave it at that.
Very good. And because I know that last time we spoke that you were hoping that you would be achieving break even. Has that been achieved yet? Or am I asking this question maybe 2 weeks too early?
You're asking the question 2 weeks too early. That would be constitute inside information, and I'd get a big slap on the wrist from the regulators. So they'll have to wait for the production report, which will be forthcoming, as it always does, around the middle of the month.
Okay, but here we are at the beginning of the month. So there's no penalties for missing the debt payment deadline. You've got very understanding creditors, and the diamonds, they're on their way. That's
the long and the short of
it. Andrew, thank you very much indeed. Andrew, they're the Chief Executive of Vast Resources. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Nice speaking to you again.